was if you did it anyway, Paul.
That's why I walked around.
Yeah. It's gone down in favour of that, isn't it?
No. Good to see you, okay?
Bubbling through.
Ready when you are, guys?
Well, good to see you. You spoke after the game on Saturday about it feeling like a weight off that first Premier League win. Have you noticed a difference morale-wise, even from, say, Friday afternoon to Monday morning?
Not really. I don't think I used the words weight off. I just thought that's off our back, so everyone else doesn't need to talk about it now. So it didn't really feel like a weight off like that. It was coming because the performances have been good. The lads have been in great spirits every single day. You know, they're loving the work. They can see the improvement. But it was a great feeling. It's nice to get a win. Obviously, that's what we're all in the game for as well. So it was a great feeling. It was really, really good. But then it's back to business quite quickly, and concentration on the next game.
It was interesting hearing your captain Tom Lockyer speaking after the match, and the chief exec as well on the radio this morning about maybe there being a little bit of proving people wrong. Have you felt that some of the coverage of Luton has been a little bit disrespectful in the last couple of weeks?
I think I might have used that word with one sort of in particular, but I don't feel, that's sort of saying they can't take us seriously. I think that is people's opinions on whether we're going to go down or whether we're going to struggle. I understand that, because I would think the same. We got promoted out of the playoffs. We were a small. I've said this before, so that's going over old stuff. We got promoted out of the playoffs. Most teams that do are favourites to go down. And we were a small club in the Championship with a small budget in the Championship. So you go into this league now, which is the most difficult in the world, we're going to be favourites to go down. So I don't find that disrespectful at all. I just think, it's just how it is. That's fine. But I think it's almost choose your words carefully in how you talk about us, because I think, most people then should really maybe do the homework and actually have a little bit more respect for what we're trying to do. It seems like people just get rewarded for spending hundreds of millions, rather than actually, oh well, they've done it a little bit differently, and maybe they're overachieving a little bit. Well done, and celebrate it. That being said, I think people said well done when we got promoted. People gave us the pats on the back. Now we're in the Premier League, we get judged as a Premier League team, and those standards are certainly higher now. So that's up to us as well to show people we can compete.
Do you have a slight frustration that some people might devise opinions without actually watching Luton Town for 90 minutes, particularly from, say, game 1 against Brighton to where you were on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to go into detail, you look at our last 15 years and you see where the club's come from and what it's done and how and what, as a football club, we've achieved. And obviously, that's a lot of people before we joined last year. But yeah, I do feel, if you actually watch our 6 games, from Brighton to Everton, we have steadily improved. But we performed better against Wolves than we did against Everton. But we didn't win the game against Wolves. We did against Everton. So sometimes it sort of went for us on the day. But we have been improving. We have been getting better. That win was coming. And people are going to look at the top teams. They naturally do, and then just to sort of assume, well, they're not great. That's it. That's all right. That's fine. We'll try and go under the radar.
Is there something in particular about the manner of the performances and the manner of the improvements that's pleased you most?
I just think the players have learned. They've learned really, really quickly. We were probably not quite ourselves against Brighton and Chelsea. Not all the way, just in moments in games. Last year we were very resilient, very difficult to break down, and at key times in both those first 2 games we were just too open and too expansive. But we're allowed to learn and work it out a little bit. We're a new group, and it was a new stage against very difficult opponents. But what I like is the players have really learnt. They've taken on information and they've been able to put that into practice, which is great. It doesn't mean we're going to just continue to keep picking up points all the time, but if we can get the performances right, it gives us a good chance.
Final couple of questions from me. It was quite a weekend in terms of VAR decisions across the Premier League. As a manager new to the league, how have you found the process of interacting with officials and having that anxious wait for decisions to be made somewhere away from the stadium you're at? Yeah,
I've been thinking about this. I thought I might be, get asked about it. I am for VAR as long as we get the right decision then. And I think with things like, we've seen certain things offsides, they're factual decisions, that those ones that need to be right. And I know that's been a big controversy this weekend. The difficulty we have then, it's still someone else's opinion then with a handball, for instance. And we've had probably somewhere we've had them, probably against Brighton and Wolves, where questionable, and then maybe another one against West Ham, in my opinion, was a bit more of a handball. It doesn't get given, but that's when it's still someone's opinion. So it's difficult for me to really answer. I think for the factual stuff, yeah, we need it. Goal line technology, offsides. But then when it just goes to someone else's opinion for their decision on whether it's a handball or not, it becomes really difficult, and it's a bit grey. It wasn't a nice wait for us the other day for the waiting for the Everton goal. It was a long wait, but then it's the right decision. So you don't mind that outcome, but if we're going to have this technology, it needs to work.
So therefore, is there a part of your mind that thinks actually life was easier in the Championship, where we'd have stood in the tunnel after games and you could say to me, I think the referee got that wrong, but you're happy almost more to walk away and accept human error than everything that comes with VAR and the fact that there's the technology, yet there's still the mistakes?
Look, like I said, I think I am for it, as long as it's then, we get the right decision, and I know that's what it's there for. But it did make life simpler more, last year. But it's not going away. It's not going away. We just need to make sure that we get we operate it in the right way and we get the right decisions. Like I said, I am for it because ultimately it should get the right outcome.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Tell us your team news, this one.
You're going to say, give us the team then?
Give us the team.
We're okay. Obviously, we had a couple of knocks and made 2 changes. We were forced into a couple of changes on the weekend, but both Berkey and Locks have come through today, so that's good news for us. They'll be okay. So no fresh injury worries from the weekend. So the squad will be the squad that it was from Saturday.
You mentioned Tom there. He's scored 4 goals in his last 10 league games, I think, and 4 in 160 odd before that. So what have you done to him?
No, I haven't done anything. I think he's just seeing it really well, really aggressive in the box, seeing things quickly. He's got a bit of a striker's mindset going on when he goes up for things now, and you can see how quickly he pounced on that the other day for his goal. It was brilliant. Almost anticipating where it was going to land, and it was a brilliant goal. And he should have really had one against Fulham as well. He had a big chance for us right late on against Fulham, which he, by his high standards, he would have been disappointed with. But yeah, it's great. He's a threat. We're going to need goals from everywhere this year, and I do think he's going to be a reliable source and be able to get us chip in with a few this year.
As far as the win on Saturday, you said you've got to move on quickly, of course. How long did you allow yourself to enjoy it before focusing on Burnley?
8 minutes or something like that. Yeah, I think when I walked back off the pitch after celebrating with the fans, then you start thinking, right, we got another one quite quickly. I think that's just the job. It is hard to enjoy those moments. You can look back and reflect at the end of the season when you've achieved something, hopefully, and even then that becomes difficult because you start thinking recruitment and what's coming next again, and it is really hard for me to look back and enjoy things. I need to try and work on that and do that a little bit more.
Football is supposed to be fun.
Yeah, it is, but hopefully other people can have it and I'll just be miserable.
How about Burnley? Given the way they dominated the Championship last season, are you surprised to see how they've started this season? They've started the season well. They've had really, really difficult games. I mean, how many promoted teams come up and have 60-odd% possession against Manchester United? They're a really good team. They've improved from last year. They dominated dominated the league last year. They were the best team by a country mile, and they've improved. They spent over 100 million, I think, reportedly or whatever. They've improved. Vincent's a brilliant manager. really good staff. I think they're in a false position at the moment.
They have Niall Foster back after suspension. How much does he add to their team?
It gives them a different dynamic, pace, bit of power. I think he's improving all the time as well. You can see the work that they're doing with him. So it gives them a different dynamic. They've got a good mixture. They can. They'll play who they see fit that can win them the game, and whatever spaces they need to be able to put people in. They've got rapid players, good technical players, clever players, and they'll go with what they see fit to try and hurt us. But they've obviously been missing him for the last 3. He gives them something different on that top line.
6-7 months since you last played each other at the Kenny, how much have you both progressed in that time?
Yeah, I'd like to think we both have. I think we certainly have. We've probably had to adapt and change a little bit more. That's been done quite quickly, quite recently, really. Last year, the way we played and the way we were able to churn the wins out, we were able to sort of keep things quite similar and go again, lads, go again, go again. We were one of the stronger teams in the Championship, so probably didn't have to change so much. This time, we probably have to adapt a little bit more. Every game gives us something different tactically to think about. We're clearly not one of the stronger teams this year in the Premier League, so we have to think a lot differently. And for every game, we're going to have to change and have a different game plan.
How amenable are your players to that when you've got such a short turnaround? Do they take on new information very quickly?
Yeah, I think they do. They're very coachable and they understand. I mean, don't get me wrong, we won't go from something here to something completely different. But we need to be clear with and without the ball. When we've just won it, when we just lost it, set pieces, for instance, we need to be very clear on what we're doing. But the players are receptive to that. They're used to the way we work. We've had a good couple of days now. We've been able to get some information across to them, and we'll have a good plan. So. You're right. There's a quick turnaround with this one, and this is just back to what we're used to. Normally, this is just like the EFL. So we're used to working that way.
Good stuff.
Thank you. Cheers, Paul, for that.
Rob, how you doing? Obviously, you just mentioned earlier about yourselves being newly promoted, and people saying newly promoted team probably favourites to go down. I guess people say that about Burnley as well. Do you feel like both yourselves and Burnley actually can surprise people? You can both start and see.
I don't want to speak about. I don't want to speak about other teams too much. I just think they're very, very good, and I know results-wise they might have had a difficult start, but trust me, they're a good team. And I don't think you do what you did in the Championship. What they did in the Championship was very, very impressive, and they have improved. They've had City, United, Villa, Newcastle, others really difficult games. So it's probably a little bit unfair to judge them on results alone. But their performances have been very good in all of them, really. So I certainly think they can. But I believed it from the minute that we got promoted that we can do it. It's going to be very, very difficult. It's a massive challenge. If we were able to stay up, it would be a bigger achievement than getting promoted in the first place. The size of the task is huge, but I've got complete faith in this group of players, the staff, and the whole football club that we can do it. Everyone's pulling in the same direction, in the right direction, and what I like is that we've had a bit of a difficult start, but then we've shown some character. We've shown that we can compete. We've improved steadily, and we're going to need to do that throughout the season. It's a long year. There's going to be another set of 4 games where we don't win, and we're going to have to dig in and find a way again. It's a long season, but I like the way we're going about it at the moment, and I'm confident that we can achieve something really, really special.
And it's clearly a big step up, and people look at Championship players that come up and wonder, can they handle the level? I mean, Carl Morris has come up and he's already got 3 goals, and that finish on Saturday, that sort of finish Harry Kane could have made. I guess you must be really pleased from a forward's point of view that he's made that step up and seems like he can handle it.
Yeah, we're very confident with a number of the players that they can make that step up. Carlton's done well. There's more that all of the lads can do to keep improving, but he's certainly shown really good moments that he looks like he belongs at the level. And I think he's gotten and I think like a lot of strikers do, he's got a real inner belief and an inner confidence in a nice way, in a humble way that, I should be here now. He's at a great age, experienced player, one of the best players in the Championship last year. He deserves this moment now, and he's started well. We're going to keep pushing him and challenging to keep improving.
And just like when you mentioned about it, you celebrated about 8 minutes, I think, that the Everton win, and let it sort of sink in. Have you got kind of people around you that remind you of what you've actually achieved during the last 12 months? Because I think it's literally 12 months ago you've just been sacked. A few months into your first Championship job, and here you are now as a Premier League manager, winning the Premier League games as well.
Yeah, it's nice. Or a game. Hopefully games. A game. We want a game.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, you do think the first 2 years of management we've gone promotion. It is good, but other people sometimes, they remind you. Remember, we've done well, But in the here and the now, you want to compete and you want to do well, and all I think about is what's next. How do we get better? I suppose that's my nature, but it is nice when you hear people going, hang on, just chill out a second, we've done a good job, but we want to keep pushing and keep striving to be better, and I know this group do as well. The players are very, very similar. They don't want to just rest on it and go, we've cracked it, and that's not it at all. We need to keep supporting each other, and obviously showing a lot of support is really, really important, but then we can really push and challenge each other as well. And that'll, hopefully those two things will enable us to keep improving and going the right way. But you're right. As a football club, we have done something great, and but that was then. We're here now, and we want to do well.